Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Off the Post, episode 21. You are joined by myself, SJ, all known as the Governor, whatever you want to call me. And I'm joined with a two-way special tonight, just me and Kaz. Good evening, Kaz. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening. We're glad to be here. I do apologize in advance. I am chuffing some Singapore noodles because I'm fucking starving. But anyway,
that's fine. You can swear, mate. You're fine, mate. Yeah, no, get that down. Yeah. Obviously, the other guys unfortunately couldn't make it, so it'll just be me and Kaz tonight going over the Premier League action.
We talk a lot anyway, so there's no difference. Like we pretty much take over the podcast. It's pretty much as us anyway. Like the other guys.
Near enough. Yeah, they've done a keeper. They've turned into a ghost.
Someone tag him. Let him know it's on stream.
All right, well, let's get straight into it. It's been a very interesting week. We had a very interesting week last week due to obviously Arsenal playing the only game of the week, which was really weird. As you can see, it's match day 31, and then we're now gone to match day 27. So. Interesting week from all the teams to come back into it, Cass, and obviously get the results. And obviously a lot of the spotlight was on the relegation, was obviously on Arsenal, was on City, was on Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool. So all the top clubs that the big spotlight was on this weekend.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this week has been a bit of a bizarre one, as you mentioned, because of that Wolves-Arsenal game. And to be honest, I think that put a lot of jeopardy on some of the fixtures this week, specifically. Yep. Of course, with the Arsenal game and the City game and us, I think it's 12 games remaining. So it's really crunch time. 11 now. Yes, thank you. So yeah, I think that's put a lot of pressure on some key players, obviously City and Arsenal. But I also think it's also crunch time for some of these bottom clubs, right? You know, your Burnleys, your Wolves. Can Wolves even have a chance? I don't think so anymore. But who knows? They could really surprise and get some results. I mean, they got one against the top of the table. It means that they can get a result against anybody, right? A draw is a result for Wolves, 100%, especially against top of the table. No doubt about that, by the way.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of. I'm not going to go too much into it, but we did have a big chat about it. You know, was it Arsenal's title run done and dusted? Social media talking about it, saying big points drop. They've obviously got the London derby. They then got the next derby, you know, so they've got pressure. And then can Man City bounce back, you know? So a lot to talk about, but also some very, very interesting results this week. I've got to say, I've looked at them. I've watched a lot of Premier League action. I just can't take my eyes off Premier League at the moment. It's mind blowing. I don't know, but we're going to go to the first game of the week. Did you see Leeds United's goal?
No, I haven't. Actually, I might just quickly pull it up. I'm not gonna lie. I have been pretty AFK when it comes to some of the results this week specifically, but I just put up the fixtures since then. Besides the North London derby, which I watched in full, painfully, but anyway. But yeah, I'll quickly have a gaze and see what it's like. But Aston Villa and Leeds 1-1. What's going on there, fellas? Can we get an idea of what's happened?
Well, to be honest with you, I'll touch a little bit on it. We'll go over them one by one. But Leeds United should have won the game.
Yeah, right.
I'm just going to see.
I just saw the Leeds goal. That was crazy.
Just wanted to see your reaction.
Where is Emi Martinez? Hey, we got 10 men on the field. Keeper's at AFK. What's going on? Away from keyboard.
We've seen Sublot.
AFG, he's away from goal. What's going on?
I can't say his name very well. I call him Dominic, you know, because he plays for Liverpool. Sublot, whatever. I can't say his name.
Sabozlai, yeah.
Yeah, I just call him Dominic. He has scored 2 of the best free kicks this season, without a doubt. Right, but that is up there.
No, it is a quality free kick, but you have to ask questions of the keeper. Like, what is he doing? He's MIA.
You can't take it away from Stack. You cannot take that away from
phenomenal.
Stack.
That's
what?
pigeon.
That's 36, 38 yards out. That's probably pretty close to 40 yards out.
Yeah. Pigeon. Unreal finish.
Anyway, we'll go straight into that game. Obviously, Villa have had the pressure. They've been at the top, you know, for quite a while. But it seems to me that it's now actually really starting they're starting to feel it, because if we go to obviously the Aston Villa and Leeds game, Tammy Abraham, 88 minutes, and they left it late. Cass, they left it really late.
Yeah, they did. I just watched. I think it was Ollie Watkins try to put it in the back of the net.
Yes.
and it was a tap in that was disallowed. Obviously, I think because he would have been offside. I think this is a massive result for Leeds, right? I think they're still well in the relegation dogfight. They still need to be very, very aware of, fixtures around them, making sure they get results in their own backyard or whatever fixtures that they have. So it's a big result against Villa, who has very much overperformed themselves this season entirely. And some might say, me included, that they could be in for a title race, but obviously we won't go too much into that. Big result, and very, very clutch to get the point at the end. Unfortunate for Leeds, they might feel a little bit hard done by, but truthfully, 1-1 result against Villa at home is a phenomenal result. With the form they're in, they've done well. They have need to put a pat themselves in the back.
Yeah, definitely. I've got to agree with that. Thanks for that. Mrs. Kerr, perfect prediction by me for the 1-1 Webby Masterclass. Yeah, it was. We will be talking about that later on. If you can message in here, you can get your fucking ass in the bloody chat, mate.
Yo! Let him know, SJ!
We do
Get
this
up,
once
cowboy,
a week.
get your ass on. Don't be a bitch.
We do this once a week. It's time for guys, to chew the
fat
fat about the Premier League. I need to go to bed. Bed?
It's right there. It's
Yeah.
not going anywhere.
Yeah, Kaz just needs to go. I'm done.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Off the PC.
See, Kaz is onto it. Kaz is just full on now. It's like F1 off the post, F1.
Not here to fuck around. Hey, I was hosting the race tonight.
I know. I appreciate that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
on. Anyway, let's go to the second result now. I don't know if you know much about the results this weekend. So tell me if you do, if you don't, just so I can give you a heads up. But Brentford 2-0 down against Brighton. I was shocked with this because they have been. Well, we're looking at their form. Lost 1-1, drawn, and then lost. And now they've got pressure on them with Bournemouth. And Liverpool have now pulled in the gap 5 points to Brentford. Are we starting to see the wheels come off on some of these clubs a little bit? Or do we call it a blip? What do we call it?
I appreciate you continue on while I just took a bite of my Singapore noodles. Thanks, mate. I think it's a little bit of both, right? Because you can make an argument to say that Brentford have bottled, this, that. But, I mean, you got to go back to the beginning of the season, right, when I was very critical of this team. I'll repeat myself again. I thought this team was going to be relegated, and I thought they were going to be 20th. So the fact that Keith Andrews has been able to make this team perform so incredibly well is a testament to not only him, but I think also the recruitment at Brentford, how they've strategically picked up certain players to be able to fill a certain role, even molded some of these players through coaching to be able to perform these roles, like Igor Thiago, who was a bench rider last season. He was on the bench, and he's just been lights out this season. Probably could easily be transferred in the summer for 60-odd mil because he's performed really, really well. So in context, I think it's a bit unfair to have that bit of narrative. I think it's a massive result for Brighton. I think Fabian Herzler has needed a result like this for a very long time. He hasn't really performed with this Brighton team too often in the near future. So it's good for him to get a result like this on the board against a very, very strong team this season. So hopefully they can use this as a springboard and see how they go for the rest of the season. But yeah, big result for Brighton. Unfortunate for Brentford, but in context, like whatever happens from this point on, they're going to love it. They're going to enjoy it. They're going to have fun this season, keep playing the way they're going to play, potentially even get the Conference League or Europa League spots. I mean, they're already there, but I think they will eventually start to drop more points as the season progresses at the latter end. So see how it goes. They've done well.
Yeah, I was quite surprised on this result. I think this was probably one of the shocks of the week as well. Not one of them, not just that one, but just others as well, because obviously Brentford have been on fantastic form. You look at Brighton's form, it's been a bit, how you going? They've lost, they've drawn, they've lost, then they've won. And obviously they've got, 31, 32, they're 3 points above Leeds. So they're trying to keep, in that gap of Crystal Palace and Sunderland, which is very, very tight. From basically P7 all the way down to P15 is pretty close. So we will talk a little bit more about that. Moving on. I don't know if you know much about this result. This was the shock of the week. Chelsea won. Burnley won. What the fuck happened?
Same old Chelsea. Do we have to talk about the very important stat that they have specifically been accumulating over the season?
Yeah, I can tell you that. That's 8 red cards. 8!
They can't be doing this. And look, personally for me, I'm really disappointed to see what this Chelsea team has become, this club. I think, I can go back to the bomb drop of Enzo Maresca losing his job in January, for fuck's sake. In January? Like, out of all times to be getting rid of a manager. January. Crazy. Excuse me. And I think, look, Liam Rosenia... Sorry, SJ, you go.
No, I don't want to interrupt. The thing is, they didn't dominate this game.
No.
This is the thing. And you look at the stats, 12 shots to 4, Stamford Bridge. With the team they've got, they're playing... I don't even know. It could be a relegated. They could stay up. I don't know. They just seem to find a way. 9 shots to 4 Burnley.
I'm telling you, it's because Chelsea have the most dead chant. Who sits there at their club and yells their team's name 5 times and calls that a chant? Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. Like, that's not a chant. Like, no wonder why they're drawn to Buddy Burnley.
I was quite shocked when I saw the result. Even when we did the predictions and stuff, and we went through them, and we were like, "Oh yeah, Chelsea, And this just says it, right? We've got the Aston Villa game 1-1 against Leeds, right? You've got Chelsea on paper beat Burnley 1-1. This just tells you that the Premier League is the toughest league in the world because these are the bogey teams. You put 12 men, 11 men behind the ball, set pieces, long balls, boom. And it just changes the game, and then they get Wesley Fofana sent off. And they're struggling for players as well because they come into crucial games and they're now going to have a top defender out against Arsenal, which they're still going to have a strong squad, don't get me wrong, but it's another play. It's another discipline. So what is going on? Arsenal had it, I think maybe not last season, it might have been the season before. They had the discipline was shocking. We got so many players sent off all the time, and we needed to sort it out. This season I don't think it's even happened. I don't think we even got it. I think that Declan Rice may have been sent off, I think, in the Brighton game. I think that may have been last season, I think. But I don't think we've had one person sent off, but it seems to be an ongoing problem. But it's just not. It's all sorts of players. It's Casido. It's a defender. It's a winger. It's Cucurella. It's like, what is going on? Rosnier's got to sort that out.
No, I agree. I think, and look, I'll caveat this for a second that I do think Liam Rosenior has done a really good job so far.
100%.
Especially from, I guess, the fears about him being, an employee of the Blue Co Group, and someone that isn't very tactically adept and has I hate to use this word, but the aura or the presence that like a top manager of Chelsea Football Club should have. But it is what it is. They've made another disciplinary issue. Rosenior does have to sort it out. It's carried over from the last manager, so it's nothing to do with the management. It's got to do with the culture in the club. So it is what it is.
Definitely. Just got a comment coming here from Connor. Do you boys think Garnacho made the mistake of moving to Chelsea when he should have the biggest bench warmer even now? To be honest with you, I don't know. To be honest, I don't think the Premier League is for him.
I can see it. I can see a player like Garnacho like being really good in like La Liga or maybe
Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I don't see him in Serie A. It's too defensive. He'll crash
Spain.
out. Yeah, Spain. Lots of free flight. I mean, Anthony's gone there and been very successful. I think the mistake is a bit of an understatement because he had to make the move, right? If you wanted to get more consistent game time and be able to play more football under the Amorim management, he wasn't really getting enough game time. So I think for his sake and for what the direction at the time was, he needed to move. But I still think he can play a part in that Chelsea team. You know, I think there's lots of wingers. He's been able to get some game time. He still has ability. He just needs to find the end product and consistency that a top wing should have in the Premier League. So he still can make it work, but it's up to him.
Well, you look at excuse me, you look at Chelsea's front three, and you go, yeah, Pedro, he is a good player, without a doubt. I think he's been a great buy for them. He was good for Brighton. Cole Palmer, he's had an up and down season. You know, he's been injured. He's come back. He's not really performed. You know, you got Garnacho. He's key in some games. He's key in not. I do rate their winger, William Gustavo. I think he's got so much potential. I don't think he'll stay there. I think he'll go to Spain. I think they'll snap him up. He's still a young kid. And Chelsea just seem to have the problems again at defence. They just don't know what their back four is. They've got no idea. Cucurella is obviously definitely your left back. Is Reece James your right back? Is he centre mid? Is he CDM? Like, where the fuck is Reece James? Because Reece James, to me, was a right back. You know, he's now playing CDM. He's now playing right wing. I don't know fucking know where he's playing. They don't rate Gittins. Don't know why the fuck he bought him, personally. You know, he was supposed to be hot property at Dortmund and all that, but you don't play him. Delap, well, it's just a rotational player, really. You know, he had a chance to. I think he is. Honestly, he's very aggressive, very good for Ipswich, but it's Ipswich. They're in the Championship. You know, like it's the same. If you're talking a few other players like Omari Hutchinson, you know, he played for Arsenal, went to Chelsea, did nothing at Chelsea, played for Ipswich, scored against Chelsea, and then went to Forest, but they don't play him.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to touch on there. I think you're spot on there with the Chelsea dilemma. I think they've been screaming for a world-class centre-back for a long time now to really solidify their back line.
Got the fucking money.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's the conversation with Chelsea is that they struggle to justify to themselves to buy the players that will actually make them a title-winning team. I think I remember I was watching Rory Jennings, I think his name is, talk about this when Maresca was sacked and they're bringing in Liam Rosenior. And it just feels like the club is not wanting to make the big money purchases to go for those elite level talents that'll make the team into a title winning team and a title contending team. Because they definitely have some awesome parts of that team. Cole Palmer, Moises Caicedo, the fullbacks in Reece James and Cucurella. Fantastic players. They've got a really, really explosive front line. Probably need a little bit more time, but they're screaming for a world-class centre-back. They're screaming for a world-class centre-forward. If they can get those two players, you can essentially afford your wingers to just be role players, try to create and just get that striker on the end of chances. They don't have a number 9 that can really get them to be in competitive positions on the table so that they can be a world-class team.
Oh, I totally agree. I think obviously you got Didier Drogba. They had what the hell is his name? Sanchez.
Yep.
I think it was that went to Munich on loan. Turns into a world-class. What the fuck?
Nicholas Jackson, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, yeah. Sanchez is the goalkeeper. Sorry, yeah. Nicholas Jackson, who is shite. But okay, you go off in the German league and do what you need to do. The problem I see is that you trying to attach, not going too much into Chelsea, going over to the next game, but you're trying to attract these top world-class players, right? Now, the problem with Chelsea is like, who the fuck goes on the bus? Because that's the problem. I think they've got a 36-man squad, which is fucking ludicrous, right?
Insane.
You've got £1 billion that you have spent on defenders, and they are still shit. Be honest. Diazi, you spent 50, 60 million. He's gone on loan to Hammers. Or Villa, I think it is. Villa or Hammers, or one or the other. You know, Cucurella, he has his good days, he has his bad days. You know, you bought the lap, you paid extremely amount of money for him. He spent most of the time on the bench. Cole Palmer has not had the fucking season he had compared to last season. When he reminds me of a Gareth Bale. One fucking season gets PF Player of the Year and then and all that, and then goes fucking leaves, or then goes to the next season and then he's shit because of injury and because of that. You're right. They don't have a number 9. They don't have a Didier. They don't have a Nelka. They don't have those Gianfrancos. They don't have that type of player. And they're relying on Pedro's great holding at the ball. He's so strong, right? But is he going to score you 25 goals? Is he going to score you 15 goals? Is he going to just help the team and play off the wingers? You know, that's the problem. I look at Chelsea and then I look at them and I'm thinking the manager is. I don't want to downgrade him, but he's not. For a club like Chelsea, when you look at the managers they've had, you're like, really? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jose, Ancelotti, you know, like
Conte, Maurizio Sarri,
what you know,
Pochettino.
That's what I mean. You know,
I even think Pochettino's a very, in my opinion, he's a top quality manager. I think he should be able to get another job at the end of this calendar year.
100%. And those managers, they're the best. Some of those are the best managers in the world. Mourinho has managed nearly every club in bloody, the world. Conte is managing Napoli. You've got Sarri. I think he is in some. I think he may be in Saudi Arabia. Ancelotti, Real Madrid. Brazil. Do you know these are big managers? And then you look at Liam Rosner, Hull City. Like
Strasbourg.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to go too much into it. I think Chelsea are in a lot of trouble, and I think they're doing very similar to what United are and Arsenal, but they're a bit behind them. And I think they're trying to find the squad, and they're going to have to dig deep, and they're going to have to say, right, you aren't good enough. Let's deal with what we've got here.
But they did that at the beginning of this season, SJ. They did that. They did that at the beginning of this season. They refused to be able to splash the big cash. Arsenal did it this season. They're very, very competitive on all fronts.
You've got to think that Chelsea have done it, but the problem is when you're talking about a world-class player, a world-class player is not going to join a squad like Chelsea to be a rotational player. They're going to want to be a star player, and they're going to want to start. They're going to want to start every time. And that's the problem. And that's why Chelsea can't attract the big names anymore. That's how I look at it. Like you've got William Gustavo, don't know anything from him, came from Brazil. Pedro Neto, Premier League proven player, right? People don't rate him. I think he's class. I think great runner at the ball, drives with the ball. Pedro, Premier League proven player. Cole Palmer, he creates your midfield, right? Where's the rest? Casido.
There's no backline. No spine.
Defense is a problem.
Yeah.
Defense is a problem.
Anyway, I think we should move on. Yeah.
Moving on. We won't say too much about this game. Two teams really going at it. Bournemouth up to 8th now. Haven't lost the game. 1-1, drawn, 1 and drawn. West Ham, though, last 3 games, down in P18, 25 points at the moment, so 2 points behind Forest. Still got an opportunity. This was an interesting game. Was a boring, though. Was a 0-0. What do you think? Can West Ham stay up? Can they, are they coming into a little bit of form? Because they were unlucky not to win this game. Jared Bowen should have scored, but it was a great tackle, I've got to say.
Yeah, I think in context for West Ham, I think the last probably 8 games, they've really performed quite well and almost start to come into form and what we know that West Ham can produce. Like there's been no doubt about the players that they have in their squad. I'm going to be honest, right? They have some phenomenal players, and unfortunately, of course, Lucas Paquetá that moved to Flamengo in the January window is disappointing to see. But they still have some world-class players, in my opinion. I think Jared Bowen is a phenomenal footballer. I think if West Ham do go down, I think you have a lot of top 6 teams knocking at the door, even for having him as a rotation player. He is getting a little bit older. I think he's turned 30 this year. And in football terms, that can be a little bit of a grey herring and not something that teams want to invest too much into. But I still think he's a great, phenomenal footballer. Their backline is still very good. Mavropanos, I think he's a phenomenal centre back. I think he's had some questionable moments this season that has left him very, very isolated. And I think that their squad and the team they've got, Somerville's a good winger. They've still got some quality midfielders like Mateus Fernandez, who I think was really, really good for Southampton last season, even though they hit the drop as well. So there's still some really good talent in this team that can be competitive in the Premier League and be able to get out of this relegation zone. And I think teams like Leeds, teams like Tottenham, teams like Forest are really starting to bite their nails because West Ham have come into form. I think that Nuno team, whatever he's done recently, has really, really put a fire under their asses and said, hey, we can get out of this relegation battle. We can take the fight to all these teams in the Premier League. Let's do what we can and make sure we play our part. And I think that's really got a lot of teams nervous in the bottom six.
Yeah, I do agree. I got to agree with that. I think West Ham are in some good form. I think Bournemouth have got into some good form as well. Obviously, their next game is let's have a look. It's Sunderland at home, so that'll be very interesting to see. But disappointing 0-0 really. I thought West Ham would have got the win there. I think they were a bit unlucky in the end. We'll move over to the next one. This was the big spotlight. Man City and Newcastle. Thoughts on this one, Cass?
Wish we had Anthony comment here. There's a reason why he's not here. I think he's a bit, a bit shaky.
I'll let you go first on this one because I've got a little bit to say.
I think good result for City. I think they needed to. I had no doubt in this team to be able to get a result against Newcastle. I said this last week. I feel like Newcastle have always been a shell of themselves whenever they go away from home. They seem a little bit, I don't want to say toothless because I think that's a bit harsh, but it just seems like they're not inspired, I guess is the word I'll use. They don't have the same energy when they're at St. James's Park. So disappointing for them because they can take some points off of your direct competitors for the title. But yeah, I also think Bruno Guimaraes, him missing out on this game was a big loss.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that was the problem. I looked at that team. City just opened them up too many times, and they got the goal, and I did scream. But I just, I'll say it again. City just didn't look comfortable. That 8 minutes. And they had to rely on Donnarumma once again, didn't they? And that's the reasons why they bought him. And if they do win the title or they do come runner-up, then that's the reasons why. Because he has kept them in it. Like 94th minute, I think it was. And Alex Hall hits it from outside or Harvey Barnes hits it from outside the box. No one can see it, and Donnarumma pushes it around post to post. So I thought Newcastle were a bit unlucky. I thought there was a draw on the cards. It did look like a draw the way it started. Both teams, had opportunities. Newcastle had opportunities. City had more opportunities, but Newcastle, great defending. Pope kept Newcastle in it quite a lot. If you look at some of the stats, probably so the stats would say otherwise. But 14 shots to 7, 11 shots to 6, 56%, 44%, 416 passes. 378. So that just tells you that Newcastle, Man City didn't have it all their way, did they, in that game?
No, but I think they're still facing a very, very formidable opponent in Newcastle, right? They've still got some quality players, as mentioned before.
100%.
But yeah, personally, I didn't watch this game, but what I will say is, I think from the way you described this game, is there a point to be made that potentially Donnarumma could be the signing of the season? From the summer, from the performance that he's put in and the way he has impacted the City backline, especially against that car crash performance from James Trafford at the beginning part of the season. I think the moment that happened, there were red alarm, amber bells going off, like all sorts of sound alarms and sirens and stuff. I think there was even like a tsunami magnitude alarm going off in the Man City offices. I think they needed to sort something out real quick. So, and they got probably top 3 keeper in the world. So, is that signing of the season?
I think the thing is with City, when it comes down to it, and they need to strengthen, they do it. They do it in a heartbeat. They done it last season with Mamouche, Cherky, and Ryan Atori from the left back from Wolves. Bought 3 players. Needed a left back. They needed. They bought Gonzalez as well. They needed a centre midfielder to replace Rodri. They bought Cherky, and then they bought Mamouche because just a bit more opportunity there for Haaland. You can't constantly rely on him. Exactly the same this season. They've done exactly the same again. The only thing they didn't do, they were playing Nunes in right back, which just doesn't work. Yes, in some games, yeah, he was all right. Same with Liverpool. Liverpool were playing Dominic right back with obviously Arnold going to Real Madrid and Conor Bradley jumping in and then obviously being injured. And they've done exactly the same again. They pulled a left winger. Doku hasn't performed. Foden has not been the same this season. He spent a lot of time injured. They needed someone else. They needed someone to, drive that attack. Bernardo Silva was obviously finishing up at the end of the season for Man City. Grealish has gone to Everton, so they needed a winger, right? Liverpool were interested. Arsenal were interested. Man United, Chelsea, all the top clubs were interested, right? And obviously Arsenal didn't pull the plug, so they decided he obviously had a free ride to Man City. Then they had defensive problems. They bought Mark Guy. They've solved their situation for the time being. Question is always this. This is not the same City that won the league last season with the same players. This is a different squad. And that was what Pep said. He said 70% of that team is a brand new squad. So do they have it in them to take it to a team that can outperform anyone, really? Pep knows that Arsenal have been the best team in the league, and he still has said there is twists and turns. It's not going to be 11 games is still a lot of games, and the way City are playing, I think he's a little bit worried. They don't seem comfortable, and they're now going. And I heard this from might have been Roy Keane or someone else. They're playing all the bottom teams who are fighting for survival, you're gonna play in the rain, away from home. It's gonna be tough. Their fans are gonna, those are the type of games. We've seen it with Leeds, we saw it with Burnley, and Man City are playing those teams. Like their next game is against Leeds United, who just drew against Villa, who are just literally behind Man City.
Yeah, those games are different jeopardy, I'll be honest, because at the end of the day, right, it's like they have nothing to lose. Everyone expects those teams, the bottom half table teams, to go up against the title contending team and not get any points. So in their mind, as a team that is already on the bottom half of the table, underperforming, whatever their situation is in the league or whatever, they're going to have a run at City. They're going to give everything. Because in their minds and in their psyche, it's a free result. If we lose, everyone already expects us to lose. It is what it is. They've got zero jeopardy, nothing to lose.
The way I look at it, and I said this last week, it's a pressure cooker, right? Mm-hmm. Man City, you look at Man City, right? We're not going to go too much, but they were 2 points behind Arsenal going into the weekend, right? With Arsenal playing. They know they can't slip up because they know that if Arsenal get on a run, which we don't fucking know in the Premier League. We just don't know, We draw against fucking Wolves, and then we obviously play Tottenham, and everyone's thinking, what Tottenham's going to turn up, which we'll talk about later on. They've also got the Carabao Cup final against Arsenal. That is on their minds.
Yeah.
The game in hand is on their minds. They've got to go and play Arsenal as well. I think there is so much. Honestly, I played semi-pro football back home, and when you go into a game and you need to win the title or go to the next cup round or whatever, there's so much fucking pressure, and these guys are elite, and they just can't afford to slip up. They know that they saw the result against Wolves. They watched it. Of course they did. Did they get it into their heads? Maybe. Some of the other guys may have got it into their heads. Some of the other guys may have just switched off and go, no, we've got a job to do. Like Ruben Diaz, Haaland, Pep. They know what they've got to do. It's the other players. And if you watch them against Newcastle, it didn't seem comfortable. And Pip said that in his press conference. They don't seem comfortable. He said they're 70% comfortable. That's what he said. So he knows the pressure that we saw it last season with Liverpool. Ran away with it. This is completely different. And this is why I keep saying every week, there is so many fucking twists going to happen. Honestly, you just got to watch it. Because I looked at something today before we move on to the next game. Supercomputer, right? The old supercomputer predicted that Man City will lose 8 games at the end of the season.
No,
all up.
That's not happening.
Arsenal will win the title, 81, Man City to 76. That's what the supercomputer is saying.
That's crazy.
Yep. So just remember the supercomputer. Anyway.
I do think, just quickly before we move on, I do think I think I've seen a stat where potentially you guys could be facing City 5 times before the season ends.
Yeah.
5 times.
Champions League,
FA Cup, both sides of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Like both legs of Champions League, obviously Carabao. And you're
No, one. It's a final. Nah. Only semis.
No, sorry. Both sides of isn't FA
no, one.
Is it? Righto.
Yeah.
So maybe there's 5 because both sides is 2.
Champions League, Prem,
yeah,
Carabao, FA, 4.
Yeah, no, 5. Because it would be both sides of the Champions League.
Yes. Home and away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5. Fuck you know. Fire up.
I know.
TV's ready, boys.
I'll tell you, watch along. 18th of April, get your fucking calendar ready. Right, let's move on. Yeah. This was a massive game, and I thought they were very unlucky to lose this game. Nottingham Forest, obviously, with the new manager, the ex-Wolves manager, to put that into perspective. What a game, though. Forest were all over Liverpool. They played shite, but they got the result, and they won 1-0 in the end. So Liverpool need to play better than that. They just... Salah's attitude when he came off, like... There's a lot of problems in that club going on, isn't there?
Yeah, I did see the I read an article, I think it was this morning about Salah and how he's been carrying himself since the beginning of this season, and obviously he's tremendously underperformed to the player that he was, and it almost seems like there's just like a level of just unaccountability, if that's even a word, like not being able to understand that he hasn't performed, and and football moves very fast, and I kind of feel like he's felt the pressure of that, and very, very quickly. It almost just seems like he just can't really accept the situation, and to me, like, it just seems really, really self-centered and egotistical, which is like, it is what it is, right? When you've been, discussed as a Premier League GOAT for so long and been there and done it and been very, very successful, I can understand that when you're in a position like this, where you're not performing, you've barely scored any goals in comparison to what you were outputting over the seasons past. I know Liverpool have made a lot of changes this season and brought in a lot of players. I think we all expected those players to hit the ground running from the get-go and compete for a title very early on, which should have been the case. I don't care who you are. When you spend upwards of $200 million in a transfer window after winning the season very convincingly, dominating, as you could say. Right?
Oh yeah, I would say so. Yeah,
that squad should, in theory, with the improvements that they've brought in, be better. So it is what it is.
100%, and I think in Salah being the type of person he is, being professional, I think is the way. If you're going to push yourself out of the club, right, be professional about it. There was a lot of stick about TA. TA made this decision. Is it the best decision? You're looking at it. No,
at the moment
they won't play him. They might probably play him now because Arbeloa is the manager and stuff like that, but. Did Liverpool replace like for like? No. Big problem. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to try and replace like for like, and yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's hard. But I reckon a lot of players would want to go to a club like Liverpool. You know, they bought Frimpong. Frimpong's been injured, but he's not a right back. He's a right wing back, and it's different. And there's people what say it about TA. TA was he was like he reminded me a bit like Beckham from a dead ball situation. The guy can whip a ball in. He's phenomenal. Crosses, passing, great. Defensively, he is shit. He is just shocking. Then you look at, right, okay, so they're going to go for the attack. They spent 60, 80 million on Hugo, you know. Didn't really even give him a chance because then they wanted to be greedy and buy Isaac. When they knew that they really probably need to strengthen in their defence, and they left it. And they've now been basically, they've had their pants pulled down by Man City because Man City have just bought Marquis for 20 million, which is nearly 16 million less than what Liverpool were going to pay.
Chump change.
Which you're like 20 million, I think they got him for, or 18 million. It's just, and then you look at Liverpool, you know, struggling against Forest. Yes, you can struggle against teams like we did with Wolves last week and stuff like that. But the squad they've got, they should be. I don't understand it, you know. And they'll look at this season, and will Arne Slot get another season? Maybe. You know, they've got to be careful because, like, the season's not long left, and they're at the top 4 at the moment. You know, they're close, but they're hanging on by a thread.
Yeah,
hanging on.
I think the recent resurgence of Manchester United is probably going to put a bit of a stamper on Liverpool's season. I think Manchester United have been phenomenal. Anyway, I think let's move on to the next result before I start talking about United because I have a bit to say about them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, we'll move on. Crystal Palace, obviously take it away. Great result. Tough result, though, because Wolves did give it to you and Mr. Penn.
But Gisson saved us somehow. I'll be honest. I didn't think Gisson was going to be... I know we went for him in the summer and he decided to go to Aston Villa and now he's come to us. But anyway, I do think that there's been... I'm trying to remember the game that I watched. It wasn't this game. There was another game that I watched, and I just watched Gisson almost just liaison around the field. I'm just like, you're meant to be a Premier League attacker that we've purchased this season. You got to be sprinting for every fucking ball, you prick. Why are you just liaisoning around? And I was just like, the arrogance and the way that he portrayed himself, like he was almost too good for the team, really rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm glad to see that he got a goal for us, but I have a lot of question marks over this guy. And I don't think he'll be a starting 11 player for us. I think Yeremy Pino is better. I think Ismail Assar has been better in those positions. I think we've just needed the cover because we're in Conference League and, Premier League is still very much in the balance. We could easily drop into that relegation battle. That's nothing to scoff at. We're only 3 points off Leeds, and Leeds are on a resurgence, and they could definitely pull us into that relegation battle. So, but good result against Wolves. Obviously, they got the red card. It was a bit unfortunate for them. I will take it. Of course, Jorg Strand Larsen go up against his former club that he recently left. Seemed a bit, I don't want to say invisible, but hard to describe his impact, in my opinion. I kind of felt that, he's a very big boy, and he reminds me of, I don't want to say he reminds me of Mateta because he's our number 9, but very similar profile, very similar play style, but he just doesn't seem to have the same aggressiveness and the same desire. That's the great thing about Mateta is that he will dogfight for that ball. He is an absolute dog. And
you're definitely missing him.
Yes and no.
You're definitely missing him. He brings that presence.
No, I agree. I just think that he needs the rest because he's played so many games. He's played FA Cup fucking first rounds. He played Carabao first rounds, Conference League games. He was playing Premier League games, game in and a game out. Like he would have got transferred away to AC Milan over the January window if he wasn't injured.
Yeah, I think so. I think he would have gone. I think it's really good for you to have Sarr back though from the African Nations Cup.
I agree. Ismail Assar is a great player, but we should have got, like, with all due respect, and I'm a massive fan of Mateta, but we should have tried a little bit harder to get him out the door in January because I think his contract expires at the end of this season or maybe next.
Do you feel you're going to keep Andy Wharton?
No chance. He's gone. There's no doubt in my mind. He's gone.
Okay.
The amount of interest that bloke has had and the quality that he brings, he's gone. There's no two ways about it. If Glasner is gone, Adam Wharton's gone. There's no two ways about it.
That's another thing I want to talk to you about in a second. I'm just going to go with Crystal Palace, man. 35 points, 1 point behind Sunderland, 1 point behind Newcastle, 2 points behind Fulham, and Everton, 3 points behind Bournemouth. So if Palace win the next game and these guys drop points, Palace could skyrocket up the table very quickly. Next game is against Man United away. Obviously, going to be a tough fixture. But let's talk about, obviously, the stuff that's gone on the social media about Glasner's comments. Like, what's your take on that?
Look, I think what comments are we talking about here, SJ? Let's be a little bit specific. What comments?
I think it's to do with something. Stay humble.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I think my 2 cents in the Glasner situation.
He's been having dinner with Haaland.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'll give my 2 cents quickly on Glasner. I think that
you do that. I'm going to grab a drink. I'm listening.
Yeah, I just think the issue that I have, right, is there's a really big. We're not a big club. There's no two ways about that, right? Crystal Palace is not the biggest club in the world, but I kind of feel like there's this situation where, because of the context around the club and because we've had a massive uptick in performance and we've been really, really good with players that we've had recently, like Eberici Eze, Michael Elise, and then obviously with Adam Wharton still on the team and all that sort of stuff, I just think that there's just been this arrogance about us and by certain players that has really, really rubbed me the wrong way. As I mentioned with Gasson, like, you're at this club for a reason, yeah? You're not cream of the fucking crop. Not yet. You might get there, like a player like Adam Wharton, Eze, and Elise, but use this as a springboard. Keep yourself grounded and build from that. I think someone like Adam Wharton will go on to have a very successful career. I also believe that of Eze. And obviously Michael Elise has been doing it at Bayern, and I think he will continue to be a really good player. Maybe even come back to the Premier League in the near future. But less on that. I just think that Glasner has been a culprit of this sort of mentality as well, where he's kind of think he's too big for the club.
He's a fantastic manager, though. He's won the FA Cup. He's beat City twice.
Beat Liverpool 4 times.
Like, I don't know. If you can try and turn it around and keep him, but when that manager says things like that, very, very difficult to keep.
I think it's clear to say that he's tried to force the Palace board's hand and to say, get rid of me, is essentially what he's attempting to do.
Do at the end of the season, though. Don't unbalance the morale, because you could soon lose 5 games on a trot and be relegation or relegation battle.
I also think we're just not in a position to do what both Tottenham and Manchester United have done and get an interim manager. We're not a big 6 club. We can't do that. We can't convince managers to take us on a temporary basis. Like, it doesn't make sense because it's only negative for them. Even if they overperform in a team like Palace that have had a really good manager in Glasner, they've had Glasner build up beforehand, there wasn't him. And if they tremendously underperform, what's going on? Glasner was getting that team to be in FA Cup finals and beating Liverpool and beating teams in finals. How are they? You know what I mean? It's not the same.
Who would you replace him with? Who would you want as a manager?
There's a long list.
Go on.
I'd have a lot of managers.
Give me one.
I would love Iraola. He won't come to us, but I would love Iraola. Okay. I think the profile of players that we have kind of would fit his style. We have a lot of energy, and I think we have a lot of players that I think a 3-back might be a little bit not great for Iraola, but I do think he could position us into back to a 4-back. Munoz is a very aggressive fullback. Same with Tyreek Mitchell. I think that potentially could work really well with an Iraola side that can. My hair's a car crash. What's going on? I think that could be really effective with an Iraola side. Hey, me too, brother. I just hide it. It's all good.
I think I'm older than you, though, so it's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. Maybe higher in the number, but definitely a lot higher in wisdom. It's all right. Anyway,
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
but yeah, I just think that Iraola would be great. We're not going to get him. I think he's probably going to go to like back to Spain. I reckon maybe even potentially go to Real Madrid or something like that. Get a job of that capacity.
Take the Spain job, won't he?
I don't think he'll take the Spain job.
Because Luis Enrique's in the chopping block.
Yeah, I know, but he won't take the Spain job. No way.
Luis Enrique is going to come to the Prem.
No chance. He's going to go to.
I think Rosner will get sacked.
No. Liam Rosenior will not be getting sacked.
Yeah, he will. It's Chelsea, mate. Come on.
Anyway,
let's move on. We can put a bet on it. Sunderland, not in a good way at the moment. I think this is their second loss at home this season, so 2 and a bounce, I think, and a great result for Fulham, 3-1 away.
Massive result. I do agree. I think Fulham have been very good. Marco Silva has been a very good manager as well. I would like to hand at Palace. If you would like to sign a contract, we will happily oblige. I think Harry Wilson has been a phenomenal player this season. I think he'll get a big move in the summer, in my opinion.
Yeah. Very interesting, though, to see if you look at the form Fulham have in before that game, obviously. Now they're in 10th, 37 points on the same amount of points as Everton. 2 adrift of Bournemouth and 4 adrift of Brentford. So they're in a good position. Fulham have had a pretty good season. 1-1, lost, and won. So interesting form. Sunderland, though, have lost, won, lost, and lost. 3 on the bounce. Where do Sunderland go from here? Are they starting to... I know 36 points is, they say, is the magic number. But could you see Sunderland getting brought into that?
I think they could probably get dragged in if they're not careful. I think that's definitely possible. There's no two ways about that. And I think there was a big result for Fulham to get against Sunderland for someone that is in that same little points bracket that they're in. Look, I think Sunderland, their next few fixtures, they should be able to clean it up. They've got Bournemouth away. I think they should be able to get a result there. I think the way that they've been able to perform has been sensational so far. I think that team has massively overperformed, but I think it's warranted, especially with the quality that they've displayed. I think Granit Xhaka has been a really good leader. I think his name's Django, if I'm not mistaken, the fullback with a really big long throw, who's been really, really sensational for them and has been really rock solid at the back. I think they've got some really good players in amongst their ranks. So I have no doubt they'll be able to pull results out in the rest of the season. So
awesome. Well, we're about to find out because they go away to Bournemouth, which is a tough game, and Fulham have got the derby with Spurs. So at home at Craven Cottage. So do you
call that a derby? I don't know if it's a derby.
No, it's a derby. London, both London clubs.
Yeah, but
2 games left. We'll go with the big one. It was the biggest probably game of the week. I'll let you ask me questions on this one. We'll reverse it. Arsenal versus Tottenham. Or shall I say Tottenham versus Arsenal?
Or it should be Tottenham versus themselves because it's a car crash and they look like they're fighting themselves on the pitch each and every time they go on there. I think this result specifically is very big for a specific individual, which I think you'll like to shout out. I think he was maybe a little bit scared, but anyway. What do you think of this result, SJ? What's your thoughts and opinions on Tottenham Hotspur in this game?
It's quite funny. I'm not going to go off a tangent, sort of. After the Wolves game, we obviously knew this fixture was coming up. And it's always, these games are tough games. Derbies are always tough games, rival games, But Declan Rice had an interview after the Wolves game, and it was very interesting to hear what he had to say as well, because I listened to the interview so many times. They're very humble. They don't get carried away. They concentrate the next game, and that's the way you do it. You learn from that Wolves game, and if you watched Arsenal Fan TV, there's a guy on the League Judges. Shout out to League Judges. He's on YouTube as well. He went mental. He went mental about the Wolves game. And I 100% agree with him. We should have won that game. 2-0 up, game over. But that's not the case. So going into this game, the pressure as well, again, as we call that pressure cooker, I thought this was going to be an interesting game. A lot of guys predicted draws and stuff, but this was a game that we needed to bounce back and obviously put our foot down and, stamp our ground and say, we're here to win this fucking title. We're not going anywhere. And it was going to be interesting to see what Tottenham lineup was going to be put out as well, because obviously Romero was suspended. Conor Gallagher, obviously, is the new player they've bought. Xavi Simons.
New manager.
Yep, new manager as well. And Murani started for the first time as well. So I looked at the lineup and I thought, this could be interesting. But to be honest with you, it was easy. In the end, it was, like the 1-1. Really, Declan Rice, what are you doing there, mate? Like, seriously, that's just silly, and he's got to learn from that. He doesn't make many mistakes, to be honest with you. So they brought back into the game. They had the goal disallowed. People say, yes, it should have been a goal, should have been a goal, should have had should have scored it. But it's the same. You look at the photos back in Newcastle when Gabriel was, went for a header. And he reached onto the player to so you could go back in that. But Gyökeres and Eze, that was it, really. Those two just stood out. Eze needed to play this game. The confidence needed to boost, because he is that player that can change games. He done it in the FA Cup. He's done it for Palace. He's done it in the other North London derby that when we played them at home. And Gyökeres needed to show up, And I gave you a stat the other day. I think I sent you. It might have been someone else. Conor CEO sent a stat to. Gyökeres is the most signing of strikers who scored the most goals this season. 16 goals in all competitions compared to anyone else. And what a finish. What a finish. So he can finish and he can score, and it was good to get a brace. And 4-1 is a statement. It is a statement. And we now go 5 points clear. So I'm happy. I'm really happy. I thought it was a very, very good result. I thought we outplayed Tottenham. They're in a lot of trouble. They are in a serious lot of trouble. And I would really be looking behind, not in front.
Yeah. I'll just quickly touch on Tottenham there. I think this game was a case study on how not
Men versus boys.
But I also think Igor Tudor, I think he tried to implement his 3-4-3. I think it had some really good moments. I think Golo Randomawani, in my opinion, I think he played a magnificent game. Yep. For someone that came up against Gabriel, made some issues for him. It just didn't seem like, and I compare this Tottenham team to Postecoglou because I was an avid supporter of Postecoglou. I watched near every game that Postecoglou managed for Tottenham, right? And I just see this team that is almost, they're missing someone like James Maddison who can really 100%. Link up, get that ball into the final third, at least challenge into the mid third, right, and be able to progress the ball through the lines. I'm watching Xavi Simons kick the fucking ball to Zubimendi.
Done nothing.
What's he doing? I remember watching that game and I just thought to myself at the halftime whistle, if this Tottenham team wants to have a chance in this game, they need to replace Xavi Simons ASAP. Either bring Dom Solanke to be able to link up with that play, at least, because he has ability on the ball, right? But even just to be able to have a player, even Conor Gallagher, just play that middle position and link and get the ball out of there. And I know Basuma can do a job like that and be able to play position in that way. He hasn't been the same player since the beginning of Postecoglou's reign, but I think this team just really lacks that link. They couldn't get out of their bloody third. They couldn't really challenge. And when they did, though, I think Kola Randall-Malani looked really good. He had a good chance that he took really, really well. Got it hard and low against David Raya. It wasn't
should have happened though. The goal shouldn't have happened. It was
agreed, 100%.
Pissing around there, you just don't do that. Just fucking boot it out for a throw in.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't put the pressure on him. The thing is, as much as I do hate Tottenham, I look at them and I think that they're just like the way the game ended. You look at the result and people say, "Oh yeah, if the goal counts, it's 2-2." We may see a bit of a different game. We may see Arsenal maybe win it 3-2. I still think we're going to win the game. I don't think it would have been a draw. I think Arsenal would have won the game. I think they brought bloody Madueke on. Saka went off. They brought bloody Martinelli on. There's so many options, And Tottenham, 13 players injured going into this game. No Romero, who's probably your top scorer. Richarlison, nothing. Van de Ven was... Well, I've got... Obviously, there's...
He got outpaced. He got outpaced by Saka. Like, what's going on? Back it up.
Is a just clinical, Gokares clinical man versus boy. Really, he's not going to lose up against the young. Yeah, I can't remember the young defender's name.
Archie Gray.
Come on, man versus boy. Isn't it really? Gokares is a big boy, man. He's
not even 20.
That's what 20. I mean. 1-to-1. Great way to finish, and great confidence going for him. And also Arsenal moving into that game going forward as well, especially with the next London derby, which is not going to be easy. And if Arsenal go away, just before we go into Man United, if Arsenal go away and beat Tottenham and Chelsea, they've only got City, really, which is the big game.
That's a big game. That is a huge game, though.
But that's it. Everyone, Liverpool's gone, Man United's gone. There's no one else to play. You've got some of the midfield tables, lower league teams, But then when you say you beat the two London teams, if that's the case, they're going to go into the next game against Brighton very, very comfortable. So,
can we talk about this comment that you've got on screen? It's pissing me off.
Have you boys seen the footage of Van de Ven completely ignoring his manager? Spurs versus Derby next season will be huge. We'll be there to watch. So obviously, Culprit Racing is saying that Tottenham relegate. This is the biggest question, right? Are Tottenham going to get relegated?
Look, I'm not going to lie. I've built a little bit, and it's probably terrible to admit on stream. I've built a little bit of a love-hate relationship with this club. With Tottenham. I'm not saying I'm a supporter. I definitely like them more than Arsenal, all right? I'm just saying that now.
4 points. That is it.
This club should not go to the championship. If this club goes to the championship, they should declare for bankruptcy. They should fucking fold. They should absolutely just not exist after the season. If they get relegated after winning the fucking Europa League, they need to be gone. Like, the club has to dissolve. It has to dissolve.
Let's talk about it. Right. Next 3 games. Right? Fulham and Spurs.
I want to go home.
Fulham are going to win that. Yep. They'll beat Tottenham. Right? Then Palace. Another derby. And they're at home. And they have been atrocious at home. And then they've got Liverpool. How many points do Tottenham score in their next 3 games? 9.
9 points, I'm saying it now.
I don't think they get any.
No,
I don't think they get any. I really don't.
I can see it, but I just think...
One. They draw against Fulham, maybe. They lose against Palace.
You're going to say Palace, aren't you?
They lose against Palace. They lose against Liverpool. They get 1 point at 9.
It's a scary world we live in.
And then you look after that, they've got Forest, relegation, Sunderland at home, who have only lost 2 games this season, Brighton, Wolves, Villa. They've got Villa, Leeds, Chelsea, and Everton. and as their last 4 games. I can't see it. They are going to have to. They're going to have to do some fucking miracles.
I think they're going to get Gareth Bale out of retirement. They're going to get him to play GK. We're going to get
Sol Campbell back. But he's going to put this shirt on instead.
Next game.
Honestly, do you believe they're going to get relegated?
No, I don't think so.
You think they'll stay up?
I think they'll stay up. They should. They have to.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Anyway, let's
blind
move
faith.
on.
They've got it. I believe.
Final game of the season. Of the week. We'll go to Man United. We'll go kick off with you because you said you've got a lot to say in this game. I'm just going to say, Man United, well done. Clinical at the end, but I thought it was lucky. I thought it could have been a draw, and I thought Everton were quite unlucky in the end. But yeah, the guy gets to cut his hair.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. I think.
Over to you.
Yeah, I think that this team looked very, very much very beatable in this game, and that was in my opinion. I think that's been quite rare to say recently. I think they've been very, very effective. They've been very resilient. And I think they've done well with the ball at their feet and be able to play around the opposition, right? I think putting Cunha on the left wing in this team is a mistake. I think if you're going to make this team effective, you need to have Cunha as the starting number 9, in my opinion. I think he's too effective in the midfield. I think he links really, really well with Bruno Fernandes. I know he naturally comes inside and occupies that midfield area in front of goal, in front of the 18-yard box. But to start him out wide initially and to have him drop so far deep means he's so far out of the play when they want to do anything effective. I think Mbeumo has been phenomenal this season as well, and I think he deserves his flowers. He has been for the form that they had at the beginning, and for him to be their starting number 9 in a way, shows his effectiveness and his ability. I think he's been very, very good. I do think this Everton team did bring a lot more than what they have shown recently. I think they were a lot more defensively resilient. They were very much more aggressive, first to second balls. I think they were very good at getting there first. I just think that little tactical tweaks for Man United, I think they would have rolled over this game, and I think they would have come away 3-0. But that's just my opinion.
Well, I think the ball from Cunha was phenomenal. You know, the way he curled it round, I think it was great, and I think it was a great goal in the end. And, you know, he just slowed it right down. He played it in front of Cisco, and he couldn't miss. If he missed that, then mate, fuck off back to wherever you came from. If you missed that, but I think he's been good. He's been the difference in the last few games, and I know. Obviously, the comments come in saying, "I know they're the best team in 2026." Yeah, but they've still got some big games to play. And the thing is, as well, you look at that game, you look at United's form, and you think, was it comfortable? Because it didn't look comfortable. I thought Lamans made an absolutely fantastic save to tip over the bar from long range, but they've got some tough games. Yeah, you know, they've got Crystal Palace next at home. They've got Newcastle. That's going to be tough. St. James Park is like a fortress. They've got Villa, Bournemouth, Leeds, Chelsea, and then Brentford, Liverpool, Sunderland, Forest, Brighton. They're not easy games, you know. And if we are seeing the same United, we may not. We may see it. You know, Carrick might lose a few of those games, but they're in a good position currently. They're in fantastic form. They've drawn, obviously, one game in the last 5 on 48 points. Villa need to be careful. You know, they're look behind them. They're not. I don't think you know. Unless something seriously goes wrong between now and then, that they aren't going to catch City or Arsenal. So that's out. But can Man United finish 3rd?
I mean, I think they definitely can. They've definitely got the quality, and I think Michael Carrick has shown that he's a formidable manager, someone who can definitely make the changes and play the formation that is effective for the team. Ruben Amorim, anyway. But yeah, I think that they do need to show more, though. And I think as you mentioned, they could potentially have a pretty tough road ahead of him. Can I just also say, why in the hell do we, as in Palace, have to play every single damn team again? Have we just not played this season? Like, have we just been missing? Like, has our fixture schedule just been invisible for the last 3 months? I wish it has, because if that was the case, it'd still be fucking top 3. But...
Yeah, I know. How things can change. The biggest question of all, though, can Man United put pressure on City?
No chance. Not a way. In terms of the title race, no. I think. But do they still have to play each other? No way. They play each other in January. No way they have to play each other again.
No, they're done, bro. They played each other.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because obviously the Manchester derby, Man United was successful in that.
Yeah, they were. All right. Okay. Cool. Good questions. All right. Well, let's go over to our predictions, and then we'll go over to our predictions this week. So, I had an absolutely shocker. So I got 4. Connor got 8. He had a fantastic week, so well done, Connor. Cash, you got 4, same as me, so well done. Anthony, unfortunately, had an absolute terrible week. Got none. I don't know how you do that, Anthony.
Just don't put in for next week, buddy.
Yeah, Keeper got 5, so well done, Keeper. Nishka got, I just need to delete that. Nishka got 4. So if we go to our overalls, just go to the table. Okay, so we've got me on 132 points. 10 points behind me is Nishka on 122. Keeper on 119. Kaus on 81. Anthony on 68. Shaz 42. Sats 34. RJ 24. Connor 27. And Huzi on 42.
I'm not even the triple digits. What's going on?
Well, you missed a few weeks, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to our predictions this week. So just you currently. It's just me and you. So I'll go to first. Wolves and Villa.
Ooh. Why is this tough? Like, genuinely, why is this tough? Wolves and Villa. I can see this being a 2-2 draw. Or I can see this being a 4-0 win. What do you mean, really? Don't really me, Arsenal fan.
I'm going really.
I'm saying 2-2. Fuck it. I'm sticking to my guns. 2-2.
Okay. All right. I'm going complete opposite. But
what are you going?
Okay. I'm going 3-0 Villa.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Actually, I'm going to go 3-1 because I think Wolves will score.
If they score, they win.
All right. Sunderland, Bournemouth. I'm going to go 2-1. Bournemouth.
2? Okay.
Who you go?
No, I'll go 2-0 Sunderland. I think they've got more in this game.
Ooh, away. Okay. I'm going to go back to you, Liverpool and West Ham.
Why do I see a 1-1 draw?
Yeah,
it's a 1-1 draw. It's a 1-1 draw. It's a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I'm going for a 1-1. I don't know why. I just think West Ham are in good form.
Yeah.
Newcastle and Everton. I'm going to go 2-1. Newcastle and Everton for you.
I'll go 2-0 Everton.
At St James Park.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Jesus.
Whatever I've done last week doesn't work, so we'll just change it up.
2-0 Everton. Wow. All right. We'll go Burnley and Brentford. I reckon Brentford will come back here. I reckon they'll win 3-1.
Yeah, I was going to say 3-0. 3-0 for Brentford.
3-0. All right. Leeds and City.
I think City will. Oh, this is a hard game. I'm not going to lie. This is a tough game because Leeds have something about them. They do. But I'm still going to say City 2-0. What have you got, SJ? What do you got brewing up?
I'm going to go 2-2.
Oh!
I think Leeds will do a Liverpool.
Look at his jersey, guys. Before you say anything, look at his jersey.
Honestly, I think that. Yeah, I'm not going to. If I believe that City are going to win, I'll say how it is. But I do. I think Leeds will do. They'll do what they did against Liverpool. They'll do the 3-3, but different scoreline.
Mm-hmm.
It's Allen Road, man. I hope it's fucking pissing down with rain. All right, let's go back over the Brighton Forest.
I'm going to say Brighton 3-0. I think Forest are in real trouble. They're in real trouble.
I think under Victor Pereira, I'm going to go for a shock 2-1 win.
Wow. That would be a shock.
All right. Fulham and Spurs.
You already said your result. You gonna double down?
I'll do mine first. I did 2-1, didn't I? There we go.
2-1 to who?
Fulham.
Okay. I'm saying 2-0 Tottenham. I think that 3-0 actually. I think Kola
3-0.
Ranamawani with a hattie.
3-0. Man United. All right, I'll go. You go next one on this one. Man United and Palace.
Fuck, I don't even know where they're going to get the goals from Tottenham, I'll be honest. I can want to change it. Anyway,
You're
whatever.
going to change it quickly?
No, I'm not.
All right. 3-0. Have they scored 3 goals this season?
Oh, fuck off. Own goals from Victor Jokic.
Yeah. Romero is back, though, for this game, so.
About time. Anyway.
Man United and Palace.
I think I would like a 2-0 result for us. I would love a 2-0 result.
You're going for 2-0?
Yeah, I would love it.
Fuck.
It's rough. It's a hard game, but I would love it.
I think Man United will be too strong for you. They'll beat you 2-1.
I think they'll beat us 3-0 if I'm being honest. But I'd love a 2-0 result to us.
Back to you again, Kaz, for this one. Why not? Arsenal and Chelsea.
Chelsea 2-0 win. I just thought to wind you up. I'm going to be honest. Come on, SJ. What have you got for me? Arsenal 4-0.
3-1. 3-1. Too strong at home.
I think it'll be a...
No Fofana. No William Gustavo either. Not playing.
Yeah, it'll be a Joao Pedro brace.
No.
He'll doggy Gabriel like Randall Colawani.
They're going to want revenge, without a doubt, because they're out of the Carabao Cup.
Then
It'll be tough. It'll be tough.
I already know the tactics. I already got the message from Liam Rosenior. I had a chat with him. I was like, yeah, mate. Oh, you're playing a back 3 and we're doing a front 5. Oh, yeah. Garnacho on left wing. Pack it up. Yeah, change my prediction. It's 3-0 Arsenal.
Do you want me to change it?
No, I'm taking.
All right, we'll talk a little bit about the this week coming up. Any games you want to talk about?
I think the obvious one is Arsenal Chelsea. I think that'll be a very, very important game for both clubs. More specifically Arsenal, obviously being the latter end of the year, and obviously the connotation of bottlers. I think this game specifically. I mean, every game is important from this point on. I think I mentioned this last time. Every single game is the jeopardy and the pressure is going to be immense. I don't know if you would agree with this, but I think this is the best position that Arsenal have been in the latter stages of the season for a little bit. I think they were probably a little bit better off maybe not last season, but the season before. And then that's when they eventually bottled it. But I think they're looking in a very good position. I think they should be favourites to win the title. I think this game will be very important.
Yeah, I do agree to some extent. I think, obviously, at the 2 games, we need to look at the 2 derbies. This is the hardest one. We know that Chelsea, that they're in a better spot than Tottenham, a better team than Tottenham. Got a point to prove. I think Liam Rosner has done a good job with Chelsea since he's been manager. I think they've just been unlucky. They'll definitely want to bounce back against Burnley. Definitely. They know that they can't afford to drop any points. They want to try and keep to grips with Man United as well. Looking at this game, obviously, United play first. United do play first and Chelsea play after. So they'll know the Man United result. That could give them a little bit of pressure, which helps us. Obviously, we will know City's result because City play on the Sunday as well. So they play late. Well, they play early in the morning. I think the one thing I think people forget, I know they go back to the Wolves game and they go, oh, yes, it's that cushion. It's that 5-point cushion, I think. And I think that is the, obviously I'm looking at goal difference as well. It's now 35, 4 goals to 4 goals to City. That's a big cushion. City are going to have to really score some goals. There's that, and there's also the cushion of the 5 points. Yes, City still have to play a game in hand, but City still have to play Arsenal. And I was listening to what they were saying today, or yesterday in the press conference, match analysts, and they think Arsenal will beat City. They think they'll be too strong for them. They up to the time they play them, they think now they'll just have that momentum and they'll have that cushion. And the problem is, when you've got that 5 points, City know they need to break that down. So they need to win every game, And everyone keeps saying, if City win every game, they win the title. They do, correct. But they've got to play Arsenal in one of those games. If they lose, and Arsenal somehow lose against, a mediocre team, it's going to go, it's going to go to the final, play the game or whatever, which would be absolutely amazing. But I think the Man City game, I think that is where the title's going to go.
I think both teams will drop points to the end of the season. I think no matter what, even if you take away the Arsenal versus City game, I still think both teams will drop points. I think we can the latter stages of the season.
We can afford to draw, I believe. Man City can't.
I think
with the cushion, with the 5 point cushion.
Yeah, but as I said, I still think both teams will drop points, even up against each other. I think the Aston Villa game is the last game of the season for Man City. I think will be very, very important. I think they also versed Palace in the second last game of the season as well.
They played Chelsea.
They played, of course, Chelsea. But you guys also have Chelsea. I think you guys also have Sunderland at home, I think, from memory.
No.
There's a result that I remember looking at and being like, that seems really tough.
Arsenal's last 11 games, I can tell you who they are now, right? Because they're all on. You can put them all on one screen now.
Yeah.
Chelsea, Brighton, Mansfield Town in the Cup, Arsenal and Everton, Man City in the Cup, Bournemouth, City, Newcastle, Fulham, West Ham, Burnley, Crystal Palace.
I think there's some results there. I think you could potentially drop points to maybe a West Ham who's really come back in resurgence. I think they've been very, very good.
Man City have got, sorry to interrupt, Leeds, Forest, Newcastle in the FA Cup, West Ham, Crystal Palace, Man City, Arsenal in the Cup final, Chelsea. So they play Arsenal in the Cup final on the 23rd of March. Then they play Chelsea after. And then we play them again between the 12th of April. They play Chelsea. And the 19th of April, they play us. So there's not both teams are going to be very tired.
Yeah.
Right?
And you got to remember there's still Champions League games in between that as well.
Yep. Then they play Burnley. I'm not sure because it's not saying on here at the moment.
No, because those
it hasn't been done yet.
They haven't been draws. Yeah.
Then you've got Burnley, Everton, Brentford, Bournemouth, and Villa.
There's still a lot of games of the Champions League to be played. It's only the playoff round at the moment. So you still got round of 16, quarters, semis, and final. Still 4 rounds to play. If either team goes the distance, they're going to be knackered. Because you got both legs on both sides. It's going to be rough. Let me ask you a question, SJ. Would you be happy, or maybe happy is the wrong word, would you be content to drop out of the Champions League round of 16 and then give yourself a better position to win the league? Would that be a worthy trade-off in your opinion?
To be honest with you, the quadruple's up for grabs. So go for it.
Do you think you guys are going to win a quadruple?
I think we have every opportunity. We're in one final already. And I think the way, if I was the manager, if you were to say I was Arteta, we've done Spurs. Next game's against Chelsea, so we focus on the next game, and you go game by game by game by game. That's all I would be saying.
Yeah.
Focus on game by game. You put everything behind. You don't. You're just like, so for instance, you can hear that noise over there. I can hear the cat over there. You know all that crap. You're just like Chelsea. That's it. Nothing. No focus on nothing else. Chelsea.
Next I think you can glance behind and kind of have a bit of a.
No, you focus in front. Don't look behind. You look behind, you then start to see what others are doing, you then get doubt. They play before you, you then got the pressure. And that's the biggest problem. And that's what I've found a lot this season. That's what the managers have said as well. You're playing after your rivals have won. So the pressure is on you. And you're playing in the rain or a low block. It's hard to break the team down. You've got to get into the game. It's slow. The first half's 0-0. That's when the doubt starts to kick in. Starts to kick in from the fans, then gets into the player's head. And that's what Declan Rice said. He said, game by game, by game, by game. It's in our hands. We've got to deliver. We cannot have another result like Wolves. And I don't believe they will. I think the momentum with the derby, great confidence. North London's red. That's always the way. And you take Chelsea on next. You dismiss Chelsea. The biggest probably team you've got in there is Man City and Newcastle. That's it. The rest, midfield, lower league, lower teams. And on paper, Arsenal have got the squad depth. They've got Kai Havertz coming back against Chelsea. They've got a full squad. Saka obviously had a little bit of a niggle. He went off and stuff, but it's all good. Odegaard got an assist. Grokerez is on the score sheet. Eze's got his confidence. That's good. Man City had a struggle. They had to hold on for the win against Newcastle right at the end. So they're going into the game against Leeds. Leeds have come off a good result against Villa. So that's not going to be an easy game. And Pep said that. They're good friends. And I've said so many times, and I'll keep saying it, there's so many twists in these next 11 games because it's the Premier League, and City have done it, though. City have done it this end before and won title after title after title, but they haven't won it with this squad, Cass. They haven't done it. This is a different squad. One of those players get injured. Look at the game against Newcastle. Haaland doesn't score. Nico Riley scores 2 goals. Look at the London derby game. Grokerez, striker, 2 goals. Is a guy with low confidence, 2 goals. I don't know. I just take it by game. Every week. I just concentrate on Chelsea and just number one focus is Chelsea and beating them at home, which you would think that Arsenal would be favourites. It's at home. We've only lost 2 games all season. So anyway, we'll touch a little bit on the Champions League and the table and we'll call it there. So tomorrow night is Atletico Madrid and Club Brugge. Who's going through? 3-3.
I think that'll be Atletico. I think they've got too much about them.
Okay, nicely done. Newcastle, 6-1 against Karabag. Should be comfortable, should go through.
Agreed, 100%.
Leverkusen and Olympiacos. I think Leverkusen won the last game.
2-0, yeah.
Yep.
I think it will be them, and they're at home, so they should be fine.
Can Inter bounce back against Bodo Glimt?
All I'm saying is that people were shitting on Spurs last season for struggling against Bodo Glimt. Hey, a lot of you fuckers are finding out now, aren't you? You dogs.
I think Inter Milan will win 1-0 and they'll get knocked out.
I think they'll get knocked out. Well, Inter at home. San Siro. I don't know. I think that'll be a good game to watch. That's all I'll say.
They can't let Bodo Glimt score. Not with the aggregate.
Oh, not a chance. If they score, it's over.
Dortmund and Atlanta and Dortmund.
Yeah, Atalanta it has had some good players, and they just recently let go of Lookman. So
yeah, he's gone to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, so probably a little bit of a shell of themselves, and I think Dortmund 2-0 ahead of them. Garassi's a great striker, by the way. Phenomenal number 9. Did have a rough patch at the beginning of the season, but I think he's starting to show up when it matters. Yeah,
I like Karim Adeyemi. I think he's class. He's so
Adeyemi. Yeah, very good player.
It's all hair, isn't it?
It's the bob. It's the bob.
Yeah. And the final game, Juventus and Galatasaray.
Whoa, we still got some other games is there, but that's all right.
Oh, sorry.
But that is a massive game. That's a big game, especially with Galatasaray. 5 goals against Juve. Yeah. That's insane.
That is a good squad, man. They got some good players.
Oh, yeah. Quality players.
I think
Champions League. Oh, yeah. I agree. 100%. I don't see the buck on this.
I don't think Juve have been. This is a big one. can we see PSG going out?
No chance. Not a chance. They're going to be at home. They got a result against Monaco at the latter end. Yes, it was scrappy.
3-2.
Yes, Desiree Doué had to come on and save the day. I think a lot of PSG fans were nervous when Ousmane Dembele was taken off for Desiree Doué. Excuse me, because of injury concerns. Excuse me again, Jesus. But I think they'll be able to get a result against Monaco. Could be close, but I think they'll be fine.
Can't afford Monaco to score, but I think they'll beat them comfortably 3-0. And the last one, will we see Real Madrid into the next round of the Champions League?
This team it's very, very hit and miss. It's insane. The peaks and troughs that this squad have is insane. I think the discussion more was about the contentious topic that happened off field, and the more than the actual result of the game. Will Prestiani be able to play again? This, that, right. He's been suspended for this game. But yeah, I think Real Madrid, they're at home. They'll get a result. They should be fine.
I was just looking at the table. They're only 1 point behind Barcelona. And Barcelona, they've lost 4 games, and Real Madrid have lost 3 games. It's insane. The slump. All right, awesome. Thank you very much on that. So that's Champions League tomorrow. Obviously, we will see most of those teams go through. Let's go through the quick table and through the stats, and then we will call it a night. So Arsenal leading the way, the 5-point cushion, beating their North London rivals Tottenham this weekend. Man City, though, still
game in hand. Try that.
Shush.
Continue.
I haven't finished.
My bad.
Arsenal leading the way, 61 points to Man City's 56. As you can see, both teams on very good form. Obviously, Arsenal drawing 2 more games than Man City's 1. Man City do have the game in hand, though. That is the biggest question for Man City. But the 2 teams still need to face each other on the 18th of April. In third position, dropping points this weekend to the draw of Leeds United with 51. Followed very closely and looking over their shoulders, Man United in 4th with 48 points, who have the best form at the moment in the Premier League, joint with Man City. Then we go to Chelsea, who dropped big points at home to Burnley on 45 points, will want to bounce back against their London rivals, Arsenal, this weekend. Liverpool, very, very lucky and got a late winner against relegation fighters Nottingham Forest, and they are on the same amount of points as Chelsea. Then you got Brentford, unfortunate loss this weekend. You would not think that on paper they would have lost that game, but they did against Brighton. They're in 7th with 40. Bournemouth on 38. Everton on 37. Joint with Fulham, and a very good result against Sunderland. And they will be wanting to go again this weekend. Newcastle, unfortunately, losing to Man City, down in 11th. Same amount of points as Sunderland. Both 2 teams basically on the same amount of points as big arch rivals. So who's going to have bragging rights at the end of the season? We'll have to wait and see. Crystal Palace in 13th spot with 35 points. Got a very late winner against Wolves. Then fighting up against Man United this weekend. Brighton in 14th. A very good result against them, against Brentford. So they'll be happy with that. Then you've got Leeds United. A very good result against Villa. So they've got the extra point. So on 31. Tottenham, absolutely abysmal. Down in 16th. They have lost 3 on the bounce and drawn the other 2 games. They lost against their London derby rivals, Arsenal. And they are looking over their shoulders with Forest behind them. Only 2 points on 27 points. So can Tottenham survive the Premier League? Which is something I cannot believe we're saying again. Then we've got West Ham, 25 points, getting 1 point against Bournemouth, who are in 8th. So pretty good result for West Ham. Starting to build some form in, but haven't got a win in the last 2. Burnley, what a result for them. They are another question asking. They are really trying to fight and to stay in the Premier League. And 9 points behind them is Wolves on 10, who look like a team that is relegated. Goals at the moment, top goal scorers are Erling Haaland, 22, Thiago 17, Antonio Simeone on 13. Yeah, Pedro has moved up into 11. Dominic Calvert-Lewin on 10. Hugo Nketiah on 10. And Victor Roqueres is now on 10. So he has jumped up on the score sheet. You've got the assists. Bruno Fernandes leading the way quite far in front with 12 goals. Erling Haaland with 7 assists. Ryan Cherki with 7. Jack Grealish with 6. And Mohamed Salah with 6. Yellow cards, 9 for Andre, 9 for Mosquero, and then Alex Jimenez, Bournemouth for 8. Red cards, obviously, Christian Romero with 2. And that is your table for the Premier League. Big games this weekend coming up, and the biggest one we are all looking out for is the London derby between Arsenal and Chelsea. Will they drop points, or will Man City drop points before they kick off? Questions will be asked. Will Tottenham be able to bounce back after a thrashing at the weekend? And will Man United still be able to keep their form going? We'll have to still wait and see. Kaus, anything from you before we go?
It's been fun. It's been a great ride. I'm very interested to see how that Arsenal and Chelsea and how the league will come out to be at the end. I think it's been fantastic to watch so far, and still so much yet to happen.
Yep. Don't know if we're going to see any watch-alongs. The games, again, are on silly times. 9 a.m. Wolves and Villa. We'll obviously probably watch that in the morning. And you've got Bournemouth and Sunderland at 1:30. West Ham and Liverpool at 4. So that would be 2. Maybe a watch-along on the old Liverpool and West Ham. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think there'll be any other watch-alongs because Arsenal and Chelsea is on at 5:30. And then the week after that, they're on early in the morning as well. And next week, the games between, you won't believe it. Next week games are all midweek games, Cass. So Everton and Burnley, Bournemouth and Brentford, Leeds and Sunderland, Wolves and Liverpool all play on the Wednesday. Brighton and Arsenal, Man City and Forest, Fulham and West Ham, Villa and Chelsea, and all play at the same time. And then 15, 20 minutes after that, it's Newcastle, Man United, Tottenham, Crystal Palace. So Brighton, Arsenal and Man City play at the same time.
Crazy.
It'll be good. As always, thank you very much to everyone jumping in to the chats. Thank you very much to the messages tonight, Coppet Racing. Really appreciate it. We'll be back next week where we'll find out what the go is. We'll be early because obviously the games are on Wednesday, so we'll probably do the podcast same time again next week. Cows probably have to Div 5 race because it will be the last race for us as well before we go into the mid-season break and silly season because Formula One's back on your screen.
Can't
so
wait.
we may even be getting involved in that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But Cows, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much to everyone tuning in as always. Have a great week. Enjoy the Premier League. And if you do like the Champions League, enjoy the Champions League. And a big shout out to Anthony. Hope your team does well tomorrow night. Off the post